Hi everybody, Module 2, Lesson 23, Solving Equations Using Algebra. Yes, it has the same title as Lesson 22. Students will be able to write and solve equations. It's also the same objective. In Lesson 22, we were solving the equations. In this lesson, we are writing from the word problem, from the paragraph, from the story. We're writing the equation and then solving it. Here we go. A youth group is going on a trip to an amusement park in another part of the state. The trip costs each group member $150, which includes $85 for the hotel and 2 one-day combination entrance and meal plan passes. A. Write an equation representing the cost of the trip. Let P be the cost of the park pass. So they define the variable for us. That's awesome. We don't need to write our let statement, but we do have to write the equation itself. So let's read through this. The trip costs each group member $150. So that sounds like it's the total that they have to pay. This includes $85 for the hotel and 2 passes. $85 and 2 passes. Now it wants us to solve the equation algebraically to find the cost of the park passes. We are not going to do that part. All right, so let's see. We have 85 plus 2p equals 150. So remember our steps from the previous lesson? Is there anything on the left side that can be combined or distributed? I don't think so. Is there anything on the right side that can be combined or distributed? Nope. So the next step was to undo what we know. Well, we know the $85 hotel fee. So we're going to write 85 plus 2p minus 85 equals 150. And if I subtracted 85 from the left, I need to subtract 85 from the right. That leaves me with 2p on the left, because 85 minus 85 is 0. So 2p plus 0 is 2p. 150 minus 85 is 65. So 2 passes cost a total of $65. But I still need to find out what 1 pass costs, because that's what the P means. Let P be the cost of the park pass, 1 pass. So I am going to multiply by the reciprocal of the coefficient. And the coefficient is 2, so the reciprocal is 1/2. Those cancel, leaving me P. And 65 times 1/2 is 65 over 2. I'm going to do 2 into 65. 3, 6. That's 2, 4, 1. Decimal, bring down a 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times exactly. So 32.5. Now we're talking money, aren't we? So each pass costs $32.50. So that's to get you into and to give you food. That's not too bad. All right, we're going to move on to, I guess we skipped a page. We're moving to Charlotte, the weekly allowance problem. Charlotte receives a weekly allowance from her parents. She spent half of this week's allowance at the movies, but earned an additional $4 for performing extra chores. If she did not spend any additional money and finished the week with $12, what is Charlotte's weekly allowance? So it would like us to write an equation that can be used to find the original amount of Charlotte's weekly allowance. Let A be the value of Charlotte's original weekly allowance. So A is allowance. So let's read this again. She spent half of her allowance. Half of her allowance at the movies. But she earned an additional $4, so plus 4. If she did not spend any more money. She has $12. So half of her allowance and $4 is $12. So now we're going to solve the equation to find the original amount of the allowance before she went to the movies and spent some. And we're going to get rid of that. So 1/2 A plus 4 equals 12. Go through our steps. Is there anything on the left to combine or distribute? Nope. Is there anything on the right to combine or distribute? Nope. So then we undo our known value, undo our constant. So we have 1/2 of A plus 4. And how do I undo plus 4? I subtract 4. If I subtract 4 from the left, I have to subtract 4 from the right. 4 minus 4 is 0. So 1/2 of A plus 0 is 1/2 of A. 12 minus 4 is 8. Well, if I have half of an allowance equals $8, what's a full allowance? So I multiply. I know you can probably do that one in your head, but let's show the steps. Half means I need to multiply by the reciprocal of 2 over 1. And what I do to the left, I do to the right. So those cancel, leaving me with A. 8 over 1 times 2 over 1 is 16 over 1, which is 16. Now, I usually write right there, but it has a part C that asks us for explain your answer in the context of the problem. Charlotte's allowance is $16. How's this going for you? Make sure that you ask questions when we meet up again. All right, we're going to bump down to the travel baseball team. If the spring weather ever gets here, we'll be talking baseball again, won't we? Alan is very excited about joining a travel baseball team for the fall season. He wants to determine how much money he should save to buy for the expenses related to this new team. Players are required to pay for uniforms, travel expenses, and meals. If Alan buys 4 uniform shirts at one time, he gets a $10 discount so that the total cost of 4 shirts would be $44. We need to write an algebraic equation that represents the regular price of one shirt. Solve the equation. We need to write it and solve it. And it has not told us what variable to use, so we get to choose. I'm going to use X. I would probably use an S for shirt. I don't like S's. They look a lot like 5s. Maybe I'll use a U for uniform. Let U be cost of uniform shirt. So let's see, he buys 4 uniform shirts and he gets a $10 discount. Does that mean he gets to save $10 or pay extra? He saves $10. How do we represent saving? It's less money we have to pay, so we're going to subtract 10. 4 uniform shirts minus $10 has a total of $44. All right, so we wrote the equation, but it also wants us to solve it. So in this equation, I'm subtracting 10. So let's go through all the steps. First step, is there anything to combine? No. Anything to distribute? No. On either side. So now, if we're subtracting 10 in the equation, how do we get back to 0? How do we undo subtract 10? We add 10. 4u minus 10 plus 10 equals 44 plus 10. So if I take away 10 and add on 10, that brings me to 0. 4u plus 0 is 4u. 44 plus 10 is 54. All right, how's this working for you? So 4 shirts without any discount, 4 shirts cost $54. How much does one shirt cost? So we undo the coefficient. Multiply by the reciprocal. So 1/4 of 4 is 1. 54 over 1 is 54 over, and when I multiply that, it's 54 over 4, which means, how many times does 4 go into 54? 4 goes into 5 once. 4 goes into 14 3. Annex a 0. 4 goes into 20 5 times exactly. So U equals 13 5/10. So what does that mean in the context of this problem? Each shirt is $13.50. All right, so we were still solving the same type of equations that we saw in the previous lesson, but now we had to write them from the word problem first. We will be practicing, as always, we'll be practicing this more in class. Go through the video again, jot down any questions you have, be sure to ask them, and I'll see you next class. Bye.